Hey, everybody. Today on our Minisode, which is also going to be on video. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can also come watch us on YouTube if you want. And we're going to be talking about is it helpful to move out of Montreal and then possibly come back to Montreal because Montreal is a great place to live and the lifestyle is fantastic. And we've had a couple of guests who have left and then have come back. Jess, what do you think is a career move to leave and then come back?
Yeah, I think, I think when we first started the podcast, I was like, don't leave us. Like, I want everyone to
Yes.
stay here. And I was
Yes,
so
me too.
firm. But, these people are all like boomerangs. They leave, but they come back.
That's
There's like
right.
a pull back. And because I think that Montreal is a great place to live and people, you have anchors. So you want to be with your family? Is it a partner? Is it a job? And so I think, it could be really beneficial to your career. What I've learned from these actors that we've been speaking to is move at the right time.
Yes,
I think that's
absolutely.
key is when you
Yeah.
have that momentum, that's when you could make your move. Build up your credits, build those relationships, network out there. So that way, when you do come back to Montreal,
Because you will, because
because
Montreal, it makes
you
sense.
will, exactly, you want to be here.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. You've built a great career and resume and demo, like you've built it
Yeah.
all. So if that's what you feel called to do, I give you my approval and blessing, and I think
Yes.
it will just maybe enrich our actors here. So I was
Well,
I was pretty like, "Don't go anywhere. Do
yeah,
not
don't
go
go and
anywhere."
Christian, we have my partner on today and not we both, but we both kind of lived out in Toronto for a bit, but we ended up coming back really quickly because we were just getting gigs here. And that's, we weren't together at the time when I've gone out twice for about 6 months. So I never really stuck it out.
Mhm.
I felt the pull to come back to Montreal, but I don't want to say regret because I don't believe in regrets. I'm
No.
very happy here. But I sometimes do have to say, I wonder, woulda, shoulda, coulda, who knows? If I had gone out there and I really gave it those 3, 4 years and tried to build those networks and those relationships and got a little bit of a name for myself out there,
Yeah.
then come back to Montreal and settled here and have my family here. I don't think I could have had my child without being close to my mom anyways, or both my
Yeah.
parents, my dad too. This is where I want to be. Plus financially, I don't think, I shouldn't say there's no way. I don't think I could have afforded to buy anything in Toronto or Vancouver.
Yeah.
Um, but I do when I heard Amber when she was on and she stayed there for a few years and really built up those connections there. And now she's settled here with her husband and her child, but she goes back and forth. It's
Yeah.
like she said, it's about 50% to Toronto. And so sometimes I wonder, would that have made a difference? I have no idea, but I do think that uh, that's the one thing I think, if you try it, give it I would trying it for 6 months and coming back, that's fine too, but really I think you need to give it to build those,
Yeah.
like, expect it's gonna take 3 years before you're gonna really make any kind of connections, and that's gonna be 3 years of work too, like, of really going to
Oh,
those
and
mixed
ups and downs.
and
It's
ups and
not.
downs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, I don't think it's a bad career move to do that either. Because
Yeah.
we heard from Sarah who said she worked more in Canada when she went out to LA. She started working in Toronto and Montreal like gangbusters when she was
Yeah.
working it when she got out to LA. Um, and had a Keemon who moved out to Vancouver. And so now being in Montreal, he has his agent out in Vancouver. So he does both cities. I think it can broaden your horizons if you do
Yeah.
that when you're unattached. It gets harder when you have a family, not saying impossible, but certainly harder when you're unattached and you can have like 6 roommates because it's also
Oh,
expensive
yeah.
and you have the energy to do that hustle
Mhm.
because it is a hustle.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's like situational, like
definitely.
Akeem, you'll hear on Thursday, but like it was very much like it's pandemic and
Yeah.
nothing going on here. And why not give Vancouver a shot? And it was actually really the comedy that put him out there, but it was the acting that took off once he was there.
Yeah, it was the acting that took off. And he also, I would like to say, and you're going to hear more from him on Thursday, but what I did, his mom also works for Air Canada. So he
Mhm.
gets a major discount. So he can easily fly to Vancouver for those gigs.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I don't know,
Very
he's also
good.
probably made some friends that he could do some couch surfing and stuff. So it made sense. I think his move was a smart move and it really made sense.
Yeah.
Um, but
And I
I
think that's also important to like highlight. It's like it should make sense. Like I don't
yeah,
want this to come across as like you should do this for your career. Like I still hold by my word of like you can build a successful career in Montreal. But I think, as people we grow, we evolve, we change our opinions,
yeah,
trying to show
yeah,
some growth here.
yeah,
If you really feel called to go and it
yeah.
feels right and it makes sense, then go for it. But
Go
all to
for it.
say is
Yeah.
like you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't think you have to either. And I think another thing that we did take from all our guests is a lot of them left. They felt too early, so they ended up twiddling their thumbs. I think that's what Sarah said. She was there like 2.5 years where nothing was going on. She kept coming
Yeah,
back to Montreal, and it felt like, what am I doing here? And Amber said the same thing. It took a lot longer to get started in Toronto than
for
she
things
had
to click. Yeah.
for things to click. So it takes time. Like I think 3 years might even be early. I think you might need to kind of give it 5 years. Again, it's totally situational, but it is situational, but there are things that repeat. And one thing I have to say that I hear repeating is that it took a lot longer than they had anticipated.
For sure.
I think they all said that. I don't know
Yeah.
any of them who said, I got out there and I started working right away, except
Akeem.
Akeem. But Akeem has a complete, well, you guys are going to
Yeah.
hear. He is a definitely an anomaly, and we say that his sort of trajectory is different than the norm.
Yeah.
So and that's okay too. So I guess I'll go back. It's situational. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's situational, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you guys will enjoy listening in on that. And again, my personal opinion, if I had to do it all again, I don't know if I would have done it differently. I don't think I would have, but I do think a little bit, especially after all these guests, like I wonder what it would have happened if I stayed in Toronto longer and then
Yeah.
come back after I built those connections there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Same here. Like I was never in a situation where I was able to leave Montreal to
Right.
go work on different contracts, production or casting wise. Um, I had also like a condo here that like I couldn't leave.
Yeah.
So I've thought about that too a little bit, but end of the day, we're here now. So
We're
it's
here now, and I ain't listen, I'm turning 50. I ain't going to pack my bags and say, "See ya, family. I'm going to
yeah,
Hollywood." Like,
exactly. But
no
all to
way.
say, I think one thing that has always been really clear was that like I knew I wanted to be near my family, my sister,
Yeah.
her family, my parents, lucky enough to still have my grandmother. Like, so that was always like, those were my anchors, like I never
Right.
really felt called to live elsewhere,
Right.
to leave them. That was always important to me. So, um, yeah,
I think that's it. It's different for every individual, and I think you got to see what your situation is and decide what feels right.
yeah.
That's the only little thing that I would say, like to repeat what Jess said, like don't pack your bags and take off to Toronto when you've had like no credits, you're non-union,
Hmm.
I mean, you can go wherever you want, but like you could go to Hollywood with no papers, but it's not going to probably mount to anything. It'll just be an adventure. And then you'll realize it's probably not going to work out for you. Maybe it will, but probably not.
Those things are
S-
good for honing more skills. I think like
yeah.
keeping and leading an interesting life is, like the Gen Zers say, it's for the plot.
That's
the
right.
storyline, so you build
That's
an interesting
right.
life, which I think different experiences also helps your acting.
Yeah, for
But
sure. If
yeah,
it is a strategic career move, it's not a strategic move to head to Hollywood with no papers. Like
yeah,
that's not a
or
strategic move.
credits.
Yeah, or credits. Like it's just
Yeah,
not a strategic move.
no.
To move to Toronto and Vancouver with no credits and no connections, it is harder for most people to break into those cities than it is than Montreal. Montreal
Yeah,
is very welcoming. There's kind casting directors. It's also a very small community. They celebrate new people. They want to see what people can do. You're much more likely to get seen in Montreal than you would be in Vancouver or Toronto. That's just a fact. If you
yep.
build up momentum, then possibly you'll be more likely to be seen. But even, the ones who had left, like Sarah had done 2 series. I mean, she had done 2 series. Amber had done quite a bit too. Um, so Alex Weiner also said the same thing. It took a long time to get
Yeah,
going, and he felt he left too early. And he had already done a supporting lead in a feature film, right? So and other
exactly.
stuff too. So these guys already had some momentum, and they felt they had to wait around a lot longer than anticipated. So just saying strategy, if you want to go by the normal strategy, it's break in here, build up some momentum, then go out there
And
and
then come
then
back.
and then come back. Yeah, most important thing, and then come back.
Yeah, and then come back. I'm gonna call all these people boomerangs. That's gonna be my new
Yeah,
thing. They're gonna come back.
boomerangs, exactly. Cool. Well, anything you want to add, Jess?
Subscribe.
Subscribe to our
Subscribe.
channel. Yes.
Yeah. We're just
Eh,
two business ladies, trying to grow this channel
Trying to grow this channel.
unapologetically. We love doing this. We love talking to everyone and sharing these things. So we hope you do too. And we just want to keep doing it. So
Yeah, we
ah.
want to keep doing it. So subscribe and listen in on Thursday when we're going to have Akeem, and you're going to hear his story of going out to Vancouver and a lot of stuff that came his way. He
Yeah.
kind of had a cool lucky journey. Although that's a whole other topic, luck. So we'll see. But he had a he was an anomaly, I felt, and
Yeah.
it was a fun journey. So
And a
we'll
rebel.
and he's a rebel completely. So I will see you hopefully on Thursday, and subscribe.
Yay. Thank
Yay.
you.
Bye.
Bye.